What's up guys and welcome to another episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Character Profiles. This week we're doing yet again the king of games, except this time we're doing Yami Yugi, aka Pharaoh Atem. So first up, this guy's English name is Yami Yugi or even Atem. His Japanese name translated is Yami Yugi, Dark Yugi basically. His age, if you're going by the Japanese Funimation dub, then he is 3,000 plus years, but if you're going by the 4Kids dub, he is 5,000 plus years. He looks very good for his age. His anime debut was in the Toei animation, episode 1, The Violent Battle, A Game of Darkness, whereas in the second series anime, his real anime debut, if you ask me, was in episode 1, The Heart of the Cards. And here is his duel score. Keep in mind that he lost to Pegasus due to a timer, he lost to Kyber and Rebecca because he surrendered due to reasons, he lost to Raphael, I consider legitimately, but apparently it was due to the Orichalcos' influence, and he also lost to himself. So I've decided to combine Yugi's and Yami Yugi's duels together because it's hard to kind of separate them when they duel together kind of thing. So yeah, even if they dueled on their own, I guess it kind of counts. So, a quick gist on the character. Yami Yugi, known as Dark Yugi in the manga and Japanese versions, and also referred to as the Nameless Pharaoh, is the spirit of Pharaoh Atem, who had been sealed in the Millennium Puzzle. He is the main protagonist of the original and second series, along with Yugi Moto. Together with Yugi, he holds the title of King of Games. He achieved this by winning the tournaments Duelist Kingdom, Battle City, Grand Championship, and Battle City version 2, which was technically won by Yugi on his own without Yami Yugi because it's set during the GX kind of timeline, just before that kind of thing. So yeah, however you want to see that. So after little Yugi solved the Millennium Puzzle, Yami Yugi resided in Yugi's body and would take possession of him when Yugi or his friends were in danger. Specifically to duel really. After Yugi became fully aware of Yami's presence, Yugi could voluntarily give control of his body to the Pharaoh. As well, they would be able to converse with each other during duels. They would usually talk about their best options of what to do in the difficult situations. His name, Atem, may be a variation on the Egyptian word Atum, which means completion. This would be fitting as Atem was missing many of his memories, and when he learned his name he was able to complete them. So yeah. Yugi's character design was overseen by Kazuki Takahashi. As he exists in Yugi's body, his appearance is largely the same as Yugi's, although many alterations are made when Yami takes control. The main difference is that Yami Yugi looks more like a teenager than Yugi. He is taller and has a deeper voice. In fact, can I do Yami Yugi's voice? I summon the winged Karibu. I summon the Egyptian god Slifer, the sky dragon. I don't think I can do it. Tell me. However, in the Japanese version, very little actually changes between Yugi and Yami Yugi's voice, except that I guess Yami Yugi talks a bit more seriously. Yami's eyes also go through a transformation. They become much narrower with a more intense, determined gaze. He also appears a bit more muscular. Yami Yugi's hair features multiple layers, including a long blonde, crooked, pointy locks for his fringe. Unlike Yugi, some of the blonde locks actually jut upwards. The rest of his hair features 5 large spikes coloured black with a hint of magenta that runs along the edges. In the beginning of the manga, his spikes are loose and free-flowing, but over time they become much stiffer. Stiffer. In many illustrations, Yami Yugi is depicted as having purple eyes like Yugi, but in some of the cover pictures of the Yu-Gi-Oh manga, he is depicted having aqua green coloured eyes. At the beginning of the series, his outfit consisted of the standard male Domino High School uniform, complete with a closed buckled collar and a large set of Ankh cufflinks on his sleeves, which weren't present when Yugi was in control. It is also noted that his uniform becomes a darker shade of blue when Yami Yugi assumes control. Also, during Duelist Kingdom, Yugi's blue and white sneakers would turn into solid blue boot-like shoes when Yami takes control. And unlike Yugi, Yami Yugi sometimes wears the jacket as a cape, similar to how he dressed as a pharaoh. Speaking of, in his past life he dressed as a pharaoh, embellished with many bracelets. Yami Yugi wears the Millennium Puzzle on a brown leather rope around his neck. It is later replaced with a chain. In the manga, Dark Yugi starts out as an unforgiving vigilante. He emerges to deal justice to people. Although his acts are righteous, he lives up to his namesake as dark. His penalty game punishments are usually very brutal. Much later, after living inside Yugi's body, he seems to have become much more caring, nice, and even has a more friendly disposition towards others. But keep in mind though that this had always been within him. In the past, Yami is a strong, powerful, and skilled pharaoh. He attempts to balance darkness and evil in his use of the shadow magic from the Millennium items. Unlike Bakura and Marik, he never uses it for personal gain, only to help others in need and to inflict punishment on people who have severely wronged innocents. Yami's pride is his greatest strength and weakness. Initially, he refuses to lose games without considering the consequences. This has caused him to almost kill Seto Kaiba by attacking his monster while he stood on a ledge, which the shockwaves would have caused him to fall off if Yugi had chose to win the duel. In the Japanese version, however, Kaiba threatened to commit suicide should he lose. Yugi is the one who holds him back from doing these acts at times. However, he is not always successful. Yugi becomes afraid to let Yami out for a while because of the harm he could cause. During his duel with Raphael, Yami, albeit with great hesitation, eventually ignored Yugi's objections and used the Seal of Orichalcos rather than lose. Ironically, it was this action during the duel that would lead to one of his few defeats and the capture of Yugi's soul by darts. Yami expressed great grief and guilt from this as it was his fault. However, he was eventually able to conquer and purge the darkness within himself. Learning how to lose as well became an essential aspect of Yami's journey, which he is tested on in the ceremonial battle. Yami is also a very wise and intelligent person. He knows all the rules and details of how the game is played, as well as those of all games. Yami, despite being an ancient pharaoh, is also very quick to learning and utilising modern technology. Despite initial shock, he was able to quickly grasp the concept of holographic technology, how dueling arenas and field power bonuses worked. He was also able to use the Dungeon Dice Monsters Help computer to quickly formulate strategies, and was able to use duel discs flawlessly on his first try. Yami is also capable of translating the hieroglyphs of the Egyptians, figuring out the riddles or clues of what they mean. Through Yugi and his friends, Yami Yugi learns the values of friendship. After seeing Yugi overcome Marik in his duel with Joey, who had been possessed by him, he thinks to himself that in kindness lies the greatest strength of all, and one day Yugi will surpass him in every way. Long ago, Pharaoh Atem defeated Zork Necrophage by sacrificing his life in the process. He used his name as part of a spell that sealed Zork's soul and his soul into the Millennium Puzzle. The puzzle was shattered by Priest Seto and laid to rest in the Pharaoh's tomb. 3,000 years later, or 5,000 in the English anime, the puzzle was found by Solomon Muto. Solomon's guide attempted to kill him to take the Pharaoh's treasure for himself, however, the guide met his fate at the hands of a monster. Solomon was saved by the apparent spirit of Atem. When he returned home, he brought the puzzle back with him. He gave it to his grandson Yugimoto to solve, which when he did, it caused the Pharaoh's spirit to inhabit Yugi's body. Pharaoh's soul, which comes to be known as the other Yugi or Yami Yugi, was now missing the vast majority of his memories. In the English dub, Yami knows by the start of the Battle City arc that he at least comes from ancient Egypt, although he doesn't know he was once a pharaoh until visiting the Egyptian exhibit in the museum. In the Japanese version, however, he has no idea of any memories at the arc's beginning and has a conversation with Yugi about it in an episode before the museum visit. During the ceremonial battle in the final arc of the series, he possesses the 7 Millennium items, the 3 Egyptian god cards, Zork Necrophage is defeated, his past is learned, and his true name is known. The pharaoh can therefore depart the mortal world and join his faithful priests in the afterlife. In order to open the doorway to the afterlife, however, Yami must be defeated in a duel. Joey and Kaiba both volunteer to face Yami in the battle, but Yugi insists that he shall battle Yami. Yami leaves Yugi to think in private as he constructs a deck for the battle. Yugi does the same for Yami. During the battle, Yami and Yugi split into 2 separate bodies and begin to duel, with neither player holding back. Yami quickly summons the Egyptian gods, but Yugi is able to redirect Slifer's attacks back at the gods, lowering their attack, and he even eventually destroys them. As the duel continued, Yami's will was so strong and powerful, he had actually influenced fate itself to draw exactly the cards he needed at the right time. Yami tries to end the duel by reviving Slifer the Sky Dragon with Monster Reborn, but Yugi predicted this move earlier and revealed that he had hid the card within Gold Sarcophagus, which negated its effect. Yami ends his turn, ready to admit defeat. Yugi hesitates to make his last attack as he does not want Yami to leave. However, through tears, he orders his silent magician to attack Yami, winning him the duel. Yugi falls to his knees, crying, thinking that he is weak and cannot follow in Yami's footsteps. Yami tells Yugi that he is not a coward and reminds Yugi that he has taught him about the principles needed to win. Now that he is leaving, he says that there would be no one else for Yugi to follow and that there would be only one Yugi. There's also another nice moment in that scene where Yugi says that a champion shouldn't be on his knees, and it's quite cool. Yami finally says his farewells and enters the afterlife to join his Egyptian friends, where he can finally rest in peace. Yami Yugi usually duels using Yugimoto's deck. On occasions, he has had his own deck, including the ceremonial battle. Here, his deck revolved around summoning the Egyptian gods, Slifer the Sky Dragon, Obelisk the Tormentor, and the Winged Dragon of Ra. It also contained a number of Dark Magician support cards. Yugi also played a Kuriboh Timaeus deck during the Waking the Dragons arc, focusing on summoning the 5 Kuriboh brothers through 5-star Twilight and combining them to form Babylon, whom he raises the attack through Pump Up. He also makes use of his Eye of Timaeus, which he received in order to defeat darts. He fuses it with his magicians in order to summon powerful fusions. He supports his strategy by using Excalibur or Altar of Restoration. In his final duel against darts, he focused on the 3 legendary knights. He even fused them together to create Timaeus, the Knight of Destiny. This deck was used mainly exclusively by Yami Yugi because Yugi's soul had been taken. And with that, guys, that is another episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Character Profiles done, and that's both Yugi's done as well. Please leave a like, let me know your favourite Yami Yugi moment. I want to hear them below. Why not check out my Yugimoto top 5 moments? It's pretty cool. But other than that, I want to say thanks a lot for watching and catch you later.